Mike Morhaime.
Oh boy.
I bet you he's got a Coke can. I'm sorry, Mike. That was literally the worst joke ever. Says he wishes that he had that they had focused on Dota earlier. Oh, this was an article that was kind of discussing why HOTS failed, and they had got a chance to talk to Mike about it and a little bit and get a little.
Now that he's not
attached, now you can talk a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So his reasoning was he mentioned a couple things. So he said one was Dota when it was a mod for Warcraft, right?
Yep.
Was the community was running it so strong at the time. He said that internally they battled with the idea of interfering with
what they had going on,
what the community had going on, and then. At the same time, they were also balls deep in pushing World of Warcraft, and so they decided to not divert resources to something that the community was already running really well, and to let them continue to do their thing. And then, unfortunately, he said that opened the door for Valve to come in and swoop up for scoop up for Dota 2, and then by the time that they had the realization to get in on the game, League and Dota were already so
they had the
entrenched.
Market.
The market was there. That they were too late to the market, and then it was kind of dead out of the gate. Basically.
Well, you know what? I agree with that. And obviously he knows it better than anybody in the fucking goddamn world. But I also think what contributed to the failure of HOTS was the fact that they tried not to be Dota and League of Legends.
Yes, yeah.
And it was not a competitive game.
No.
And it was so annoying that they made a MOBA and refused to call it a MOBA. Like they went out of their way, bro. I think
that's because they knew that MOBAs had already been, like, the market had been won. So it was almost like they were like, we need to create a new genre to hopefully compete.
I understand that, but at the same time, you're Blizzard.
Oh, it's still stupid.
And your name is big enough. Your company brand is big enough that you can move in if you want to move in.
This isn't Paladins.
No, this is not Paladins.
Yeah.
You're Blizzard. And you're not even just shitty Blizzard now. You're Blizzard in damn near its prime.
Yeah.
We're talking like good Blizzard
at the time. Just before the fall.
But you're almost at your peak successfulness. Everybody's
Overwatch
on the
was
high.
Peaked, everything,
StarCraft's huge. WoW is huge. Everything they touch is big. And if they just would have came out with their own shit, made it competitive, I truly believe this. I always did. I believe the outcome would have been different.
Yeah.
I still think they'd be here today.
It was marketed very oddly and confusingly.
I remember when I was in Las Vegas with them for Heroes of the Storm.
Right.
And I had private conversations with some of the community team members there.
Yeah.
And I asked them about HOTS because I was there for HOTS, even though I was a StarCraft guy. It was just a reason for me to be out there because I was playing League of Legends at the time.
Yeah.
And I got through there through a Team 2G Connect. And so it was a HOTS event that was going on in Vegas. And I remember talking to them at the Twitch party. Or not Twitch party, the Blizzard after party, which is very similar to a Twitch party. And I told them, I said, I really enjoy playing the game, but it's just too damn casual. It feels like a MOBA, but it doesn't feel like a MOBA. Like it just doesn't have... I can't feel like a god. And that's one of the things I think also Blizzard was trying to get rid of is the toxicity of people trying to be, I'm the fucking carry, I'm the best. They wanted to make it more team-based. And the reality of it is you're coming from a community, or you're coming into a genre that is ultra competitive, ultra toxic, ultra like god mode hero status. Everybody thinks they're better than everybody else. You can't just flick the switch and have them think differently while playing the game. Their tendencies are going to come over. And I asked them about the whole brawlers because they call it a brawler game or whatever they know. And he said literally Blizzard told them, and every time that they mentioned the game, they were not allowed to use the word MOBA, like ever. Like you basically, I wouldn't say you get in trouble, but they were like, they didn't even want it spoken. Everything was like the brawler, I don't forget what they call it, like a team brawler, whatever the fuck they call it.
Yeah, something
they were
like
like
that,
shoving that down people's throats, and they were trying too hard to try and be a MOBA, but they didn't want to commit to it. And it really, ever since day one, there was that stink in the air.
Yeah.
And there was a big enough pocket that it had some success because there were a lot of people that were tired of the toxicity, tired of the same old same. There was a more casual friendly. You could kind of pick it up and go to some degree. So it worked, but it didn't have the legs because then once other big free-to-play games came out, they started losing. They started losing their diehard core. Now they want to go and play Battle Royales, PUBG, fucking Fortnite, whatever.
They're just late.
They're just late. That's what it was. And it sucks because I loved HOTS. I played a lot of HOTS, and it really is my favorite MOBA. As for the different maps, and they had so much right, but I just wish it was competitive. I still would pick League if I had to grind a motherfucking MOBA. As sad as it is, I'd have to pick League because of the competitive juices, like just to get it going.
Well, that's with games like that. You know, there are always going to be a group of people that just want to play them and have fun and whatever. But for a lot of people, when they hop into a game like that, they might start in that group, and then the majority of them get to a point.
Yep.
Where that honeymoon phase of just playing it for fun is over, and then it's now I want to see if I can actually improve and get better.
Yep.
And so the competitive nature starts to kick in a little bit. It's not like they're all hyper competitive, but they want to start climbing the ladder a little bit.
Yep.
And what that does is it changes the mentality of the game. And when they doubled down on this whole concept of the team lives and dies together, it immediately made it so that no individual player could shine.
Yep.
So you never really felt like you were doing anything special. You could do something spectacular in the game, and it could amount to absolutely dick all.
Nothing. Yeah.
And if you couldn't corral, it became even more so than League, because in League you could still carry.
Yep.
But you in lower leagues you had to corral your team. It was like you were playing Dr. Phil.
Yep. You're doing great, guys.
Sports psychologist.
Don't worry about it.
Everyone, you're just keeping everyone together.
Well played, dude.
You know, pinging where to go, doing everything. Good job. This good. You're like spending half your time fucking like
you're a psychiatrist,
messaging them, like being a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
And so you had to do that in HOTS eventually as well, but you didn't have the ability to really carry anymore.
Yeah.
And so when just the frustrations for people trying to be competitive in that game just kept mounting more and more and more, takes the fun out of it more, and it gives them even less reason to stick around. So that when games did come out that people could feel competitive in again, they often either went back to League or back to Dota or just stopped playing HOTS altogether. Maybe they hopped on the PUBG train at the time, stuff like that. It was unfortunate. It was definitely too late and marketed poorly.
So what do you think right now?
Things.
Michael
Not much,
No. I mean, Michael Morhaime. All right,
Yes.
if you're Michael Morhaime right now,
Big Mike.
right, you've got you're sitting in your fucking mansion somewhere, right? You're sitting on your billions,
Probably playing Brood War.
all right, probably playing Brood War. Are you fucking salty right now, or are you saying, you know what? I'm fucking happy. I'm content. That's it. I'm out. I've done it. That's it. Like what do you? I mean, I'd love to be able to I'd love to be able to pick his brain, because what? How do you feel? Like, because Blizzard right now is in such a rough state, not only publicly, but just also their games in general. Like, shit is not. They've got some nice things. Like they're doing some things well still. We've got the new Warcraft coming out. People are excited for. WoW Classic has got a lot of hype right now, which I think will die.
Whoop-de-doo, Basil.
Pretty fucking quick. But nonetheless, if you're Michael Morhaime right now, are you in your big mansion playing Brood War while crying? Or are you playing Brood War with a fucking Cuban cigar and a 100-old bottle of wine and saying, I'm living my best life?
Probably both. So this is how all I can say. I couldn't guess how the fuck Mike.
I know.
Morhaime
I'm just.
But I'll say how I would
conversation.
feel. Okay, so how I would feel if I'm Mike Morhaime and I'm one of the two founding fathers of Blizzard, and I put all that time and all that energy into building that brand and into creating all of these games that are now in the pantheon of greatest video games ever made.
Yep.
And spent a long time getting Blizzard to the point where it was considered a top 3 company in the gaming sphere of all time for quality of games. Where it became its own standard that it will be released when it's ready, and you didn't care because when it did come out,
You knew it was fucking.
it was going to
It
be
was ready.
fucking good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Worth the wait.
So they went through all of that, and then so obviously Mike made a ton of money, and he definitely made even more money when Activision and Blizzard merged. So I think he's happy with all of what he personally did, but when he leaves and then he sees, and he even would have seen this before he left, but when he sees all the work that he and the people that he worked with for 20 plus years to get to this point get dismantled in the span of less than 5 years, and being turned into this machine to crank out
Activision machine, bro.
mediocre bullshit.
Yeah.
That's got to at least be disappointing and possibly frustrating to watch somebody else dismantle all of your work, even though you've already walked away from it. It's still going to be painful to see somebody shit all over your work like that, right?
Yeah.
So I suspect that might be how he feels. I'm sure he's pleased with how he personally did.
Oh fuck, he didn't do anything wrong, and he got out at the right time. He did all the right things. What about this? Another hypothetical, just because. Do people get fucking amped as shit? And would you get amped as a motherfucker? Mr. Morhaime himself goes, we started up a new company. We're developing our new game. We've got some of the old ones the guys that we've worked with, guys and gals that we worked with. Remember a lot of those people that just got fired? They're hired. We are creating.
He pulls a Hideo Kojima.
Yes. Do you get excited about that?
Of course.
Yeah.
I think everyone does.
Yeah.
Will it happen?
No. Yeah.
He's done. He's retired.
Yeah.
What I could see him doing perhaps is
funding one, or being part of like
being a consultant.
Yeah.
For some of the old Blizzard team has formed their own little indie devs, and maybe he does some consulting here and there. But I don't think Mike is pulling a Hideo Kojima. I think he's out.
He's done.
I think he's out. But I would be excited.
Yeah.
I think everyone would be excited to see that, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
what does Mike do next? But at the same time, if I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think that what Mike necessarily would have in his back pocket would be something that the market wants right now.
Yeah, that's true.
Mike is old guard.
Yeah.
He was the hardcore StarCraft guy, and I'm not saying that he isn't capable of producing something the market would want, but would what he would want to do be something the market would want? And I think that would be, other than the fact that he's probably just tired of working, that would probably be a deterrent for him as far as getting back into it.
Yeah.
Would be, do I have it left in the tank? Sure. He's not that old. Do I want to get in and get my hands dirty again? But what I want to do is not necessarily what the market wants right now.
Could it be
and
successful?
So it's
right?
probably not worth
Yeah.
going in and doing, unless it was just a passion project that he didn't care about the money.
Yeah.
But I think, absolutely, people would be fucking jazzed, bro. People would be super fucking hyped about that shit.
Fucking dope.
But
yeah, I don't see it happening.
I don't see it happening.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah. Oh, we also talked about, just to wrap this up, I mean, one of the quotes that was in there, and one that he's used in the past as well, is the whole idea that perfection, or the word perfect, is the enemy of great, or perfection is the enemy of greatness, which was like something that he, was insinuating that Blizzard struggled with a lot, where it was the concept of it'll be out when it's ready, but if you're aiming for perfect, it's never going to get released. Sometimes you just have to live with great, right? But he said there's so much competition in the market that it was always a challenge to find out where the line was for where to stop striving for perfection and launch,
Yeah.
versus continuing on to be competitive with the rest of the market. And it's true. I mean, that's applicable anywhere. Like anything that you do in life,
Yeah.
there's a line. Like in business, it's the 80% rule, right?
Yeah.
Like you get to the 80% mark, and then the amount of work to get the last 20%
Yeah.
is as much work as the first 80.
Yeah, and it's not really worth the time.
And it's often not worth
not.
the time.
It can be.
There's always fringe cases,
yeah.
but often it's not worth it. You get that 80, and then you launch and you move on to the next thing, right? So he talked about that, and that I can imagine that would have been a struggle, and especially in today's video game market where stuff is so much more competitive.
Well, and everybody's so hyper critical on just about every fucking thing you do, right? I couldn't imagine being a game developer, and especially one with such a reputation, and you got to crank out that quality every single time.
That's a challenge.
Yeah,
that's a big challenge for sure.